Hey Thrones fans, this is Adam from the Oklahoma board gaming community, and today we're bringing you the finals of our first GNK. This will be Nights Watch Banner of the Wolf on the left and Martell Fealty on the right. If you've watched any of the prior videos, you have seen both of these decks go before. This is just a culmination of our tournament here. Nights Watch's setup, we've got Tumblestone Knight out there and a Benjen Stark. Really the feature there is going to be the Benjen, 5 cost 4 strength guy. Adds stealth to all the Rangers on the board, but there are no Rangers at this time. On the Martell side, we've got a Nymeria Sand and a Dornish Paramour, as well as a Rose Road, so got a little bit of economy going early. I would give the edge on starting setups to the Martell player here, primarily for the icon removal on Nymeria Sand. It's just a lot easier to get attacks through, especially knowing the makeup of these two decks. Both of them are more of a control style and longer play style, but being able to remove those icons early is great. Also, the Dornish Paramour, not affected by Nymeria Sand's ability, but does have the ability to pull characters into challenges or force characters into challenges that it initiates, with its power just basically being as long as you have the icon, you can force them to defend. So they do have to have the required icon, meaning he could not initiate attack with the Dornish Paramour and force Benjen to defend, because Benjen does not have the required conditions to defend the attack in the first place, meaning he does not have an intrigue icon, so he could not defend an intrigue attack regardless.
See, that's the thing, is that whatever happened with me, going back for a while, you don't need it. Not only do I not need it, but it hurts me. I blow my own stuff up. So I take it out, and then I resolve.
Finishing up some of the plot selection here. Like I said, both of these decks are a little slower. I've heard people refer to wall decks as power rush before, but considering the other options out there, considering that Nights Watch's primary goal, at least at this stage in the game, was to defend, throw out a bunch of chuds, things of that nature. And when I say chuds, I just mean low-cost characters, easy to defend with, and possibly then to claim away. I think it fits control a little bit better. So opening plots here for Nights Watch, we've got a Feast of Crows. It's an Edict, 6 gold, 1 initiative, and 1 claim. After winning dominance, you gain 2 power for your fraction. So based on that, I kind of expect the Nights Watch player to be marshalling probably an Iron Throne here. And then we again kind of see the Noble Cause come out for Martell player. Noble Cause is reducing by 2, the first Lord or Lady played that turn. And keep in mind, that is not a choice, it is the first Lord or Lady played that turn. So if you were to play 1 cost Lord or Lady, you would be wasting part of that power. Meager contribution did reduce the Noble Cause income to 4. They then paid 1 to marshal a King's Road and immediately kneel and sacrifice it to put the Red Viper out there. Red Viper is a pretty solid card. After winning a challenge in which he's participating as an attacker, he gains 1 power for each 5 strength he wins a challenge by. So even though he's a Tricon, meaning he has military, intrigue, and power, I personally feel that this ability is just subpar compared to a true Renown. Now, granted, you can get 2 to 3 to 4 power on him in a single turn, but it's just not consistent. You're not always going to be winning a challenge by 5 or more, and it is only while attacking. So keep that in mind, both while playing against and playing it, that he cannot trigger his ability on defense.
I'm kind of playing for seconds.
We're kind of playing for seconds.
Because I beat him, so if I were to win this,
If you win this, you get second.
Right, we also got Edric Dane, or Edric Dane out there. 1 strength, 2 cost, no icons. Pay a gold to give him an icon, and he does have stealth.
We'll have to calculate all that out after this. I don't think
So on the Nights Watch side, we're seeing a Rose Road come out there for the limited this turn, increasing their economy.
so. I have 5.
And Iron Throne, so I did predict correctly here, contributing 8 strengths to total for dominance, so probably guaranteeing them 3 power in the dominance phase. And still some significant gold out there, should have 4 left, so hopefully gonna see something else hit the board.
And you made me go first. Okay. They talked to me and it distracted me from the other part.
Mine runs like 28 eyes and mining core. And a jet.
one for here, one for Kings Road.
Seems suspicious, sir.
4, 5, 6, 7 at ours. And the other 2 for lights.
Nice. So when both of them are out,
So they both get +1, he has power and he has entry.
Okay. And it looks like we're gonna see a Littlefinger out there. So Littlefinger, giving you additional gold every round that he's out there. So he's basically a Rose Road of his own doing. And when he's marshaled, you draw 2 cards. So Nights Watch players should be getting 2 cards here for their trouble. Keep some good things in her hand. And even though I had said they had only 4 gold left, they did have the additional gold from the meager contribution play, taking it from the Martell player. So I believe that'll pass us over to the challenge phase, and waiting on Martell to make their first move.
Wait, why are you still holding this guy?
A lot of people are a little bit down on Littlefinger. I don't think he's a strong card, being that in setup, the majority of his effect is wasted. I love the extra income. I love the fact that in mini decks that are light on intrigue, the Starks, the Night's Watch, he gives you that icon. So he's got some positives. Myself, I fall middle on the road. You know, I think he has benefits. I don't think he has a lot of strong benefits. He's a bit high costed for what he does. But that draw sometimes is so important, especially in houses that don't have it.
We'll defend.
So we've got a military attack coming in with Nymeria,
I'm going to do
stealing that military icon from Benjamin.
I will now do a military with
And defend and claim with the Tumblestone. It does look like we have an intrigue attack initiated with the Dornish Paramour, which he then takes back. Pretty gracious in a tournament to allow that.
They get +1, so they have 6.
I don't deal at all, or only when they do the other.
They do not deal when declared as a defense.
But we do come back in on intrigue and forcing Littlefinger to defend. Then putting the Viper in there as well.
So when you do that,
Just
it has to defend, like I can't like let you go out of first.
no, it has to defend. Yep.
Okay. So
I was thinking I only had 4 too, so I just kill my guy.
I win by 6.
So, since we added the Red Viper in there, will be a 6
That's fine.
6 over on the power winning.
You don't like in the future.
So that will give a power to the Viper. Also, unfortunately, on the intrigue claim, you see Maester Aemon coming out Maester Aemon being the card that you're able to kneel to save a character when claim effects would apply, and also has that all-important intrigue icon for the Night's Watch here.
So I'll do the power.
I don't defend opposed. I have no power, so you just get that opposed.
So, Night's Watch on their challenge phases just initiates a power with Benjen. Initiates power with Benjen due to his loss of a military icon in the earlier part of the phase. It does still get you an unopposed power and then gains 3 during the dominance phase. 1 for dominance and 2 for triggering Feast for Crows. So everybody's going to stand back up here. We're going to get some plots selected again. The board's still looking a bit better, or quite a bit better, unfortunately, at this point for the Martell player. But plenty of power over there on the Night's Watch side. I'm sure they're feeling the pain of the loss of Aemon.
I'm not pulling the hound back to be brave.
Still plenty of game left to go, and 2 solid characters out there. And all of the icons already on the board.
Not gonna do it.
If we see a milk or something for Nymeria, could really change the game in a hurry.
10's the best. Like, this is a 10 grain charge on the mount for
Intrigue.
like chaos theory 10.
So you see some discards from Night's Watch here, just to get back to reserve.
Oh, this is +1. Oh, yay. We're good to keep cards. Okay.
3.
Oh, 3, you're right.
Alright.
In this case, it's the same difference.
Yeah, that's fine. I will oppose and win it.
I'll show the cards, you know, the
I'm gonna bounce it back to you.
Okay, I'm still fine.
Then dominance.
Should go to you, yep. I'm gonna kneel the tickler to discard a card.
Then I'll run that advantage.
Okay. Doesn't discard 1 from play, but it's still
So,
something.
plots here are going to come out,
Well,
and we're going to have Calling the Banners for Night's Watch, and Counting Coppers for Martell. So, Calling the Banners will net 4 gold for Night's Watch immediately, 1 gold per character the opponent has, plus 3 gold when it becomes her turn in the marshalling phase. Counting Coppers, early I'm a little surprised. I guess we did throw out a lot of cards with the 2 duplicates, so may feel his hand is fairly low. Maybe looking for something specific here. Counting Coppers allows you to draw 3 cards as the when revealed effect. The downside to this is you do only get 2 gold for the marshalling phase, so you're going to draw quite a bit of cards. Probably not going to be able to play many of them. Many Martell players will do something like the long plan into Counting Coppers. The long plan being a card that allows you to gain a gold for every challenge you lose. In addition, you get to keep gold throughout the taxation phase. So instead of at the end of the round when you typically give your gold back, you're going to leave that on your next revealed plot. So it kind of mitigates the damage of Counting Coppers often, as Martell doesn't mind losing, especially early on in a game. That being said, I'm not criticizing his play here. I'm just giving more options for ways Counting Copper could be used, especially out of Martell. So, Night's Watch is going first here in the marshalling phase. We see a King's Road hit the table. A little bit of a glare on that, but that is limited for this turn. Adds an initiative. Kneel and sacrifice to reduce the cost of the next character played by 3. Doesn't have to be a lord or a lady, just the next character played. And we're going to use it.
Use it.
So we see Sirio come out. Sirio is great considering we've got some icon removal on the board. So Sirio can grant stealth and a military icon to the character of his choosing. And that can be done at any time after he's knelt or anything of that nature. He does not have to be standing. He does not have to fulfill any conditions to grant that. Also, he has stealth So he himself also has stealth. Pretty good, prevents Dor and Martell from stealthing through him. We also see Castle Black at the table. Castle Black, also a pretty solid card. Right now it does only affect Binjin. Once Binjin's defending, you can kneel Castle Black to stand Binjin and up him by 2 strength.
Sorry, I'm so slow.
It's alright. No rush.
King's Road, that would be helpful, but yeah.
Really solid card, especially once you have more Nights Watch characters out there. Right now it's a little bit of a struggle,
I'm gonna guess you have a Randall in there.
as it doesn't affect the 2 neutrals on the board.
Stealing
A lot of flowers
icons.
is doable. Randall's is a little.
You still got a little bit of gold left to spend. Probably pretty full-handed still. Played 2 cards, did discard down to reserve last round, so still should have quite a bit of cards there. And lastly, we see the ranging party come out. Really solid character here. That is their army. And like many of the Nights Watch characters, it only can have a weapon attachment, or in some cases no attachment at all, but in this case no weapon, nothing but a weapon. So it does prevent from being milked, etc. Granted, you wouldn't want to milk an army, but many of the Nights Watch characters have that. Also, putting the Nights Watch on the board there, it gives you another target for Castle Black, and once the wall comes out, will increase his strength as well. Also 4 cost for 5 strength and 2 icons, still very solid. Only 1 intrigue on the board, which is probably the biggest problem right now.
Not that it tells me that.
Amanda hates her because she always discards a card that she wants.
Martell plays a Blood Orange Grove, which is their limited card reducer, a Desert Scavenger, also a reducer, 1 cost, 1 strength power icon, the camels you see down here in the corner, and then milks Binjin, which blanks his text box. He still keeps his traits, so he's still a ranger, he's still got 2 icons, he's still got his 4 strength, but he now no longer can be shuffled back into the deck when he dies. He would truly die, and you would not gain 2 power for his death at the time either. Those are his printed conditions. Alright, Arohoto enters the board as a marshaled card. He's much weaker marshaled than he is if he was ambushed in.
Not yet.
That being said, he's a 5 strength military icon for only 3 gold, which is fine. That being said, if ambushed in, he can remove a character from a challenge. It's typically my preferred method of using him. Sometimes you just need the strength on the board, and as we discussed with counting coppers, there wasn't going to be a lot of gold there. Got a little bit lucky drawing into those reducers, still being able to put some things out on the board. I believe only spending 2 gold.
Give it right back to him. His own power.
Are you trash talking to?
So Nymeria steals a military icon from Sirio,
You're right, that won't make any difference. There's no reason not to, 'cause you're gonna
and it is the Nights Watch players' challenge phase. There's a lot of military power on the board right now for the Martell side, more than you typically see.
stupid Nymeria being kind of ruined this turn.
Change your identity.
Myself, I might be given some
Do a military with
some power character stealth, but I think they did go ahead and grant stealth and military back to Sirio, so he lost his military icon to immediately gain it back.
military of 7.
And we are initiating military attack.
Goes it for 9, alright.
Just of 3, it looks like.
And pass. Well,
Oh, sorry,
I
you
can't do
still
anything. I could do the intrigue.
So, reminding, Martell is reminding here that they do have stealth, so giving him another opportunity to use stealth.
stealth as well. Fair
I
enough.
will close it with stealth.
Yep, but I'm still in, but I'm
In that case, I'm going to defend for you.
So, stealth ends up being granted to Miria, and Hota
I'm a
defends.
little happy about that.
That was the, like,
Will win the challenge on
that was
defense.
the one I wanted to keep.
Could have been worse.
I had 7 cards and he pulled the sword out of my hand.
I'm just currently glad this was out.
Still have an intrigue and a power challenge to go,
Alright. All you, sir.
Okay.
but we pass. So pass to Martell challenges, leaving 3 characters standing for defense. As I'm looking at the board here, I'm not sure. I think I might have tried to do an intrigue challenge at least.
An intrigue.
'Cause I have a feeling, again, that you could get some things knelt,
Stealth pass.
reduce the power gain. If he wanted to win the intrigue challenge, he would have to defend with his Viper to win it.
Total of 11 strength.
And it would have prevented this power gain here. So you are seeing a intrigue challenge, stealthing Littlefinger here. This is a
Okay, so I will
11 challenge,
unopposed.
11 power
He
challenge.
gains 2 because I'm at 11 strength. 1 for every 5. And then you have to
So that does grant an unopposed. It grants also 2 power on top of the Viper because since there were no defenders, he gets 1 for each 5 strength he is above. And at 11 he had 2.
You're gonna win
So again, this is probably where I would have,
what?
if I was a Nights Watch player, probably done that intrigue challenge.
Pass.
I think you come out ahead. Worst case scenario, they chump block with a Dornish Paramour or pay the gold to give it to Edric.
I'm at 5. My reserve is 3.
But that's going to reduce the power gain by 1. So Martell passes, and dominance goes to Night's Watch. Night's Watch will gain a power, and we stay relatively even here at about 4 to 5, or 5 to 4. Going from left to right.
For reserve, I will put another dupe on Amira. She's never leaving.
I think I only have 2 in here. So.
I got it from like
I will pay 3 and seal the hand on third game.
Yeah, they only had 1 color at the moment. That was last year. They said they're going to go more colors. We got it this year.
It was like one of those deals where
Challenges phase, I will take.
you have to deal with so many people like that. It was like a third party site.
Like a brawl.
Yeah, it's like $12 for 2.
Lots come out. We see Wildfire on the Night's Watch player's side, and Heads on Spikes from Martell.
It dies, and I gain 2 power.
Little surprised to see Wildfire come out here from the Night's Watch. Those are 4 really solid characters. It is going to hit 3 of the Martell players' characters, so maybe you're just wanting to clean up the board, hoping to get maybe Edric off the board. Definitely probably getting Hota off the board. So maybe we're just considering that worth the loss to one of theirs.
Dead pile, and I gain 2 power.
Martell does actually end up getting a good trigger with Heads on Spikes though. So we draw Yorin out and gain 2 power. Heads on Spikes, of course, is basically a free intrigue challenge at worst. At best, it gains 2 power if you pick a character and does kill that character. So now Yorin is in the dead pile, could not be marshaled in the future. And Yorin's relatively powerful once you've got some dead characters. He does have the ability to bring some of them out of the dead pile. It is an opponent's character though, so basically taking a 3 or less cost character out of your opponent's pile. So he's a pretty important pull.
Dumb, I should have unhooked him first. I was thinking it would be a twofer.
And you see a little bit of a mistake here as well. It does appear that Night's Watch was not thinking about the fact that Bingen had been milked.
It's alright, I feel you.
And since he's milked, cannot do the claim from Wildfire, taking the 2 power. So a little bit of a harder decision on what to take off. Martell, we do end up keeping Edric Dane out there for the stealth, and it just looks like for some good claims. So with the dupe out there, it's nice to have. We're still keeping stealth. That'll help push those unopposed through for the Red Viper. Interesting choice. So Wildfire target was the ranging party. Getting rid of one of your Night's Watch characters.
One to spare.
In marshalling phase, Martell is placing a dupe for the Red Viper, and also marshalling the House Dane Knight. So House Dane Knight, kind of your stock character, your 2 for 2, 2 gold, 2 strength, and 2 icons. And then one of the best cards in a Martell player's deck, Gaston Grey. It does have a reaction after you lose a challenge. You can kneel it to return one of the opposing characters to their hand. So this card is crazy just because a lot of players put a ton of effort into getting their big characters on the board. So a 7 cost character, you're probably having a Noble Cause out there or burning a King's Road. So you attack into Martell with that character that you're counting on gaining a lot of renown or having a great special power. Gaston Grey immediately kneeled, sacrificed, and returned that back to your hand. So now you're back to, can I afford it? And did I lose renown for that? Did it have 3 or 4 renown already on it when it came back to my hand, putting me behind in score? So again, Gaston Grey, highly endorse that card. Love it, and it is very strong. Night's Watch, we're seeing the wall finally hit the board. It's your 4 cost. It's going to increase the strength of Bingen, the Night's Watch character, by 1. Not going to affect Littlefinger or Sirio. And will gain 2 power in the dominance phase as long as no challenges go unopposed. And then we're also seeing the King's Road come out, which is just going to reduce by 3 in the future. Both those do have a bit of glare on them, so go ahead and point those out. In the start of challenges, Nymeria is going to steal military from Sirio.
Well, because he gave me 3 and then I got 4 for calling the banners.
And then asks if Night's Watch has any reactions.
That's a little silly.
Keep in mind here, they could go ahead and grant military and stealth with Sirio. However, up until the point that they declare defenders, they can still do that. So there is no real reason to go ahead and grant military and stealth until a challenge is initiated.
Okay, that sounds good. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I am now going to...
She let him win. She let him win.
Oh, he has stealth.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Alright. Well,
Intrigue challenge?
the last 3.
Wait.
No.
And... Sorry, they just...
So they're just discussing what's going to be granted where. I do believe they went ahead and granted military back to Sirio before the challenge was initiated. Nope, they're still discussing who they're going to give military. So we're seeing military and stealth granted to Littlefinger.
7, 8, 9.
And then we are seeing confinement played on Littlefinger,
That's
Draw a card on entry.
Yep.
which is going to remove all icons.
push your bar, draw 3 cards.
And since I'm not as familiar here, this is something I'm going to kick out to you, my viewers.
And you have to discard a card.
Does confinement still remove the military granted by Sirio? Obviously, this is not going to matter here. He's getting rid of the intrigue icon
You only got 4.
I'm sorry, last time I was here, I played with you.
and initiating a large intrigue attack,
Played last time.
I'm going to attack you for 4
I was
military.
so confused.
which is successful, gaining him the unopposed and 2 power. And then coming in with a 4 strength military attack with Nymeria, which is defended and won with Benchen.
Deal, I guess.
Let's jump, sir.
So is it just me, or does
Your
it
turn.
depend a lot on the swing draw?
Well, I guess you would be.
You mitigate a lot.
So,
Really
Dominance.
I'll just get one
Play a rose red and cancel
I
out.
will say that is still a flaw.
So the confinement question would come into play here. I do believe that it doesn't have the icon. I think confinement applies basically a -1 to all the icons, while Sirio is applying a +1, so they're going to net out to 0.
It's a flaw card.
Dominance will go to Nights Watch again, and everybody will stand back up.
Nothing really crazy.
Well, so, I mean, this is my one of the
Probably expecting a confinement here out of Night's Watch to get the milk off of Benjen.
I was just making sure it wasn't limited as well. I was confused.
No, it's
Alright. Well, that was.
Maybe a long plan out of Martell.
I don't even know what to do.
I drew 2 dupes. I drew
Should be the 4th round, so that would be about right.
I expected to play cards and everything was free.
But we'll see what we reveal.
7 gold left over.
So frustrating. Okay. Alright, I'll intrigue you because you don't have an intrigue icon.
So you're correct, I don't have intrigue icon. So I'm going to pay a gold to grow intrigue on these 2 guys. He lost the lead to the face. So,
Alright.
and then,
Drop your other card.
the Rose Garden.
And draw a card for last board.
Okay. Can I res these for free? So, actually, I res this, use it to res
I'm gonna
this.
steal a power icon from.
Alright, so plot's coming out here. See a filthy accusation coming out of Night's Watch, and I didn't expect it, but still seems like a good play. Get rid of the
I do not return unspent
large
gold treasury during
body of the
taxation.
Red Viper.
That is a challenge to gain 1 gold.
and the long plan. So the plot I was expecting out of the Martells is a 4 gold plot and does allow them to gain a gold every time they lose a challenge. In addition, they don't return that during the taxation phase. So that's going to carry over into next round.
You what?
Give them quite a bit of gold to work with.
To remove a character from the challenge.
You get 5.
He stands though.
Yes, he does.
So in marshalling, we're seeing the Martell player go first, marshalling a Rose Road. So we've got 2 out there now. Rose Road again, just the +1 gold modifier. Alright, and marshalling for the Night's Watch, we've got a Veteran Builder. It's a 3-cost, 4-strength card. Builder trait. Currently, not many builder traits in the game. I believe it's that card and Halder, which is rarely seeing any play.
Military icon.
It does have the power to sacrifice himself to stand a location. So the Veteran Builder can be utilized to stand the wall back up even after a unopposed challenge.
You're gonna pay 1. Give Edric Dane.
So as challenges start, we're seeing Nymeria remove military from Sirio,
Stealth past him.
and we're then seeing him grant an intrigue and stealth past Littlefinger.
Next.
Since he was already stealth passed, he could not be granted that all-important stealth
7.
to prevent that.
4, 5, 6. You have to defend with everything if I did it. Or lose a character. I don't actually mind those odds too much. Attack both of those. 6 military.
Military for 10.
6.
So then we see a military challenge of strength 6.
So it's 3.
So defending with Benjen and Sirio. And Benjen being 5, Sirio being 3 at the moment. Kneeling Castle Black to stand Benjen back up though.
Yeah.
And passing to Night's Watch.
And what I heard you. Yep. You and your renown. It's gonna get you the game here. You only need
So we see a military challenge come in with Benjen. I like this play. Benjen's not really at risk for being Gaston grade anymore. With Milk of the Poppy on him, I can't imagine that you would get rid of a Gaston grade just to pull him from the board.
I would remove an icon, but there's no point. You will not win up.
And so claim for military was the dupe of Edric Dane.
Oh, that's right.
A power challenge with the veteran builder goes unopposed.
Put to the sword.
And then an intrigue challenge with Littlefinger.
I am going to use Gaston Grey.
Also going unopposed, but Gaston Grey is triggered to return to hand. Again, I don't think I feel too bad about this. If I'm Night's Watch, I can re-marshal him, drawing 2 more cards. He's expensive to put back out there, but still, extra cards are fine, and you have a King's Road on the board, so you can easily afford him. And we did go ahead and sacrifice the veteran builder to stand the wall up. So we'll gain 3 power during dominance.
That's an easy choice.
That is an easy choice for you. Yeah.
And then on the Martell player's side, we did gain the 3 gold there for the 3 unopposed challenges they let trigger.
Probably win
I
without.
have 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, she's got it.
Alright,
You again, discard this guy. Not that it's going to make a lot of difference for you, but...
No, it's fine. I'm still gotta discard this here.
This is a very close game.
Guard?
So close on the Night's Watch side. 13 power.
Another Ed Hart.
Stupid amounts of 2.
Keep missing that confiscation.
Killing me, man.
Just any ability to get Benjen back out there, get him
I feel like
Get him
I can
killed.
win board state, but she's winning in power, so.
and 9 power sitting here.
That's the way it always
That's
looks.
the wall.
I'm pretty sure I'm
We
out.
defend by tooth and nail.
So I expect it to come down to this round.
Some specific things.
We never
If
have
Martell
wins.
cannot push
Somehow
through
we
and
always win.
win it here,
That's my puzzle.
I only have 4 gold.
probably see it go to a win for Night's Watch and Dominance.
Yep, that's kind of how I felt for most of the game against her. I sat there going,
And they're actually just now talking about how they feel that Martell's had board state the entire time, yet
No, that's not what I'm thinking.
Night's Watch is still ahead on power, and that is the power of Night's Watch.
Actually,
You know, they really just need to defend that wall and sit back, and they kind of put you on a time clock. It's not the fastest time clock in the world, but it is a time clock, and so it forces you to make those decisions. It forces you to move through.
Okay, what challenge you like, Amy?
Power.
Okay.
So as plots are revealed for this round, we're seeing a Calm over Westeros come out for Night's Watch. Calm will be selected for power, so no power can be stolen. Well,
So I'm at 11, you're at 12.
the claim value on power is reduced by 1 for all Martell players' challenges, and then we're seeing a heads on spikes played.
So I have all of this.
again pulling a character, getting the little finger that was just bounced back to hand. So no more chances of the little finger coming back out. It is unfortunate. Gaining 2 power, bringing it 13 to 11. And plenty of gold to work with for Martell, though not too low on funds for Nights Watch either.
Do what? Three people or 3 in one.
Marshalling for Martell, we see the Green Blood Trader come out. Green Blood Trader, just a small intrigue icon, but a great draw effect. When Marshall, you can draw 2 cards, look at them, keep one of them, and put the others, or both if you choose, on the bottom of your deck.
That makes sense.
Or you can.
So what did you?
So a little bit of filter.
This on him.
I mean,
+1 strength for
we
each.
we would have to discuss our strength of schedule, but
Still allows you to see the cards you need to see and
we can
get rid of the ones you
We
don't.
have to figure that out real quick.
And that will be
But I'd be
So we're also seeing a Dawn played on
You would have higher.
the Red Viper.
check the
And gives +1 strength for every plot in your used pile. Weapon attachment.
126 minutes.
saying the SD card's about full.
44 minutes on the SD card.
Maybe that's why it's blinking out of it.
Should be good.
Should be fine.
Nights Watch's Marshall phase. We see an Unsworn Apprentice hit the board. You've watched the past videos. You've heard me talk about this a bit. No icons, very similar to Edric. He's a bit stronger. It doesn't cost any money to grant that icon, but does lose the value of
I feel
stealth.
like we were still relative, even though you were quite a bit ahead in power.
Okay.
Our board states were just that far from tipping one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I was just hoping that I could just keep extending each turn a little bit. And,
You just kept getting all those dupes, man.
yeah, well, I mean, that's so because I have. This is what this deck is. It's
okay.
summons and building orders.
Right.
And then money,
Okay.
power, confiscation. Yeah,
I'm going to use Nymeria Sand. Actually, no. Let's use Edric Dane
Yeah.
to give him an intrigue icon.
It seemed like it played pretty well.
So, how
So
7?
right now we are granting an intrigue icon to Edric Dane.
Why?
12, Dawn.
And
Oh, Dawn.
Lady Sansa's Rose with 9 flowers.
13, 14, 15.
And just counting up power on the board.
I'm going to go ahead and steal an intrigue icon. It doesn't really matter because you have one, but I'm going to do it to
I was able to
the
put
Unborn Apprentice, I guess.
So we are going ahead and stealing an intrigue icon from the Unsworn Apprentice. This is another little bit of an interesting card interaction in the game. Nymeria Sand can steal icons that are not there.
Anything you want to do?
It does just apply a -1 to that. So even though the Unsworn Apprentice currently has 0 intrigue icons,
I'm going to stealth past him.
you can make that value a -1. So now he has a negative intrigue icon.
Did you get this?
And it does give
Oh, he's not. He's a companion, isn't he?
And
It does give Nymeria that icon still.
Middle of the road.
So she has a lot of interesting interactions. She can also steal an icon after a challenge is initiated. So I come in military with Benjin. She steals the military icon and then defends. It doesn't negate my challenge, but it does allow her to defend.
So, what did we decide he was an 11?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, so 11.
So this was all in intrigue.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
And I believe based on the used plots
That's fine.
and the power on the board.
3 power.
So used plots based on Dawn.
Use Doran's Gain.
I believe we're sitting at 19 power,
4 more power.
which should have been +3.
You win it
And then you
by
see
5.
Doran's game come out. So after you win an intrigue challenge by 5 or more, gain that amount of power for your faction. So since it was 5 or more, you're gonna go from 14 + 4 to 18, and that'll close out the game. It was a close one, coming down 13 to 18 after about 45 minutes through the round.
I like this deck.
You're about 7 or
This
8.
might be my best.
All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. I do want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching these videos. Hopefully you're liking the content we're putting out and enjoying this. If you have any comments, please put them below. Let us know what you think. And also, I want to say thank you to the players. Thank you to our meta. It's always a pleasure playing with you. Pleasure talking to you about Thrones. And I appreciate you letting us video you, getting some of this content out there for the community.